Interesting read in the last couple of days over real estate because it's gone from hot to not. And the one thing about housing, and it's not supposed to, but it's been driving our economy for a little while now. But for the first time in years, it's actually showing signs of cooling. As you look at the September numbers for condos, the market has actually now been flooded with a bunch of new listings, 21% jump in listings. And that could either be people panicked and trying to get out, maybe they lost a job, or either maybe left the downtown to work out of mom and dad's place in the burbs. And because demand is lower, that also means there are more rentals coming to market, which if there's a silver lining in this, unaffordable rentals actually become more affordable again, albeit if people have left the downtown core, they will sit empty. But what starts with the condo market is soon likely going to have a drag on the housing market. And so a lot of people looking to make decisions should bear maybe some witness to this. Alex Morrison is with Bosley Real Estate Limited Brokerage and joins us now. Good to have you.
Hi, how are you, Alex? Thanks for having me.
Well, it's interesting because I watch this a lot. It's one of the conversations in our household where we think, do we lock in? We've locked in with low interest rates, but, maybe we watch the market and see like when a good time to sell is. And I have to think, now that we're looking at the condo market, that would be a lead indicator of what is going to be coming our way. But what is the cause? Is this a panic where people either lost a job and had to get out really quickly, or they're just making decisions that they're making a big lifestyle change?
No, it's more about a lifestyle change. So, I heard your sort of intro, and the housing market is still quite strong. It's the condo market that isn't as strong. And one of the reasons is people are getting out of their condos and they're buying detached houses because now everybody wants space. Their home is the place where they're living, they're working out. And so for a lot of people, the condo isn't going to do that for them anymore. So they want space, they want a backyard, they want a house. So we're finding, yes, there's some people who are leaving the city, but there's also a lot of people that are staying in the city and they're just buying a big house in the city. But the condo market has definitely been affected.
And here I want a bunker built into a hill with no windows and become a prepper all of a sudden. I say that in jest somewhat. But, it's interesting because you look at the skyline of Toronto and there is nothing but condo development going on. It's been a massive market, as you well know, for a number of years. So we've got thousands and thousands of units being built. What happens to all that stock?
You know what? Nothing. They will be occupied in a few years. The interesting thing is that this is a COVID blip, right? So right now, there's no immigration, there's no international students, there is not a lot of Airbnb happening. So the condos are emptying out. It's definitely increasing the supply on the rental market, but also on the resale market. But what's interesting is on the pre-construction side, you're seeing a lot of demand. On the pre-construction side, developers are selling their pre-construction condos to domestic investors for $1,300 and $1,400 per square foot and selling out. Because people feel that, in a few years, the immigration and the international students will be back. So they feel perfectly confident in the market. Now, one interesting thing I just read is that the Canadian government, as of October the 20th, is now allowing those international students to return to our country as long as their university has a COVID plan. So I think that the blip in the condo market in terms of the rental might be a little bit short-lived once more international students start coming in.
Right. And the other thing would be the interest rates are so low right now that if you can get in and lock in and, take advantage of those low rates, that there's an opportunity there. But there's also the worry, and I'm not sure what you tell your clients, but interest rates are going to go up. Maybe not this year, maybe not next. So what are you telling your clients at this point? To sit on things, try maybe moving. Like, what's your advice right now?
Well, right now to some of the renters who haven't gotten into the condo market, I'm telling those people this is a great time for you to get in because the rates are low. The Bank of Canada announced they're going to keep them low for the next 2 years. So it's a great opportunity for buyers to lock in. This is the window that they haven't had to get into the market because there's no more offer nights for condos. Predominantly, they can actually make a deal. The days on market for condos is quite long right now. So this is a great opportunity for buyers to get in and negotiate the price they want. I always say to people, you can never time the market, right? You're never going to buy at the lowest point and you're never going to sell at the highest point. So now, because the market has seen a bit of an easing for the condo market, it's certainly a good time for buyers to get in there.
And what about the housing market then, though? Because doesn't this set somewhat of an indicator that housing will also slow or cool off?
You know what?
And I would say, and maybe there's a difference between downtown living and certainly the suburbs, because there's been a big shift. I mean, people who live in downtown are thinking, gee, maybe it's time to get out and get that bigger piece of property, get away from the city. And on the flip side, people are working remotely, so they don't really have to commute. So there is some movement in that market.
Absolutely, and there definitely is. But what I've noticed is, let's say a market like Durham, because the houses are $700,000, $800,000. That's the price of a condo in Toronto. So that market has taken off, and they're seeing lots of multiple offers in a place like Durham. And if you look at a place like, let's say, Prince Edward County, you used to see houses sit on the market there for years, and now I just witnessed one house this weekend. Within 48 hours, it was sold in multiple offers. So there's just a lot of movement everywhere, and people are just, you're right, people are leaving the city and going to other areas, but some people are staying in the city and just craving more space. But in terms of the future of the housing market, I mean, we do know that all markets are cyclical and there will be changes at some point, but, predicting that, nobody really knows. I mean, if we look at 2017 in April, that was sort of the last time the housing market took a bit of a dip. And then again in March, April, when we were just locked down this year in 2020, it took another bit of a dip. So when is the next time that the housing market is going to take a dip? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Because for a lot of people, it's the place you're going to live. Whether you make money or lose money in your house in the next 2 years or 3 years, it doesn't really matter. I would hope that if you're buying a house, you plan on living there for the next 5 to 10 years. And over that time frame, of course, it's going to increase. But, no one can time the market perfectly.
Yeah, I for some reason I never hit it at the right time, but I buy high and I end up selling low. But I think in the area of commercial, though, there are certainly things that are changing. I don't know if big office spaces are, as I read, they're not kind of the future. A lot of businesses are starting to pull out and thinking, hey, I can get my employees to work from home and then I don't have to pay for the bricks and mortar. So there is going to be a shift in the way big cities look.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting with commercial. I was just chatting with a friend of mine that works in commercial real estate. And, one of the things is that a lot of the companies are sort of in a holding pattern with respect to office leasing. They're not making any changes yet. Everybody's they're sort of in wait and see mode. And I think they'll wait till 2021 to decide what they're going to do with their office spaces. Are they going to sublease them out to other companies, or will they hold on a little bit longer, thinking that at some point their, employees will come back to the office? But, in the next couple of months, we could also see layoffs in some of the companies as well, too, which will mean that, yes, they will take less space. But, there's so many different things happening right now, especially if you look at retail and restaurants. Mm-hmm. A lot of those spaces are going to become vacant. And, I would hope that the landlords would go easy on some of those restaurants and recognize that if you kick a restaurant or a retailer out of your space now, you're not getting anybody else for another year.
At least, yeah, no question about it. Well, we'll keep watching. It's fascinating to see it kind of move and shift and see where it lands. But nonetheless, busy days ahead. Devel, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Talk to you later.